they call it, and then Fairchild, National, in the past they call it. So 8 companies. Clarion, the car radio, they also want to be in. So you just imagine, when this company have been here for more than 40 over years, and their company that been here for more than, there are people that work in the same company for more than 30 years. And when you see this company, not only one generation is working in that company, there can be 2 generations working in that company. Sometimes it can be 3 generations working in the same company. And all these generations, they have a different expectation. Old people like me, my expectation is different. Right? Old people like me doesn't look more for cash, more looking at insurance, those kind of things. But the young people, the one that just joined the workforce, what they're looking at cash, right? Because they need cash to start up their families, to buy cars and so on. So cash is very important to them. But I'm not saying that cash is not important to all, but the priorities in the cash are different now. Right? For the people that going into retirement and so on, cash they have enough already. So what they are looking is on other things. Typically the medical coverage for them, those kind of things are very important. So, but if you give very very good medical coverage, insurance and so on, right? If you die during working and so on, you get 100 years of payment. Who cares about it, right? For the young people. Of course, nobody give 100 years of payment. I just exaggerate. So when it comes to Com and Ben, and the challenge with us in the Com and Ben, right? We have one that fit all generation, so they're easy to manage. Right? One is that we want to have easy to manage. Second is that we don't want the employee to say why this fellow get this, why this old man get this, why I didn't get this. Right? So we need to structure the Com and Ben in a different manner to take care of this generation. How we want to take care of it. Right? Some company go by choice. You can elect what you want. Like you go to supermarket, what you want, you just pick, and then you just pay. Some in terms of sharing. You want this, then you pay some, the company will co-share. So there's a lot of these things has been coming in the industry. Why? Because to take care of the different needs of the different generations. Even the same generation also, you'll be surprised to find that some of the people, they have a different need also. Because maybe it came from a different background or different family. So their needs also can be different. For example, like you, your generations are different from my generation. When I first come to work, I need to help my family, my parents. Right? But I think most of you don't need to help your parents. Because your parent doesn't need your help. I would say most of you. Right? But you help your parents just because you want to help your parents. It's not because they need your help. But for the older generation like me, we need to help our parents. Right? So things have changed. So that's why the Com and Ben is an art, on how to handle and how to retain the employees. Okay, attrition. Attrition is very, very, it's a topic that companies do not want to talk about. Because we do not want to lose good people. But we don't mind losing not so good people. But because of our Employment Act, we try to be careful to work within that Employment Act. To terminate an employee is not easy. I will cover the Employment Act later on. Because in HR knows this. Right? If you want to terminate an employee, it's not very easy. Right? There's a lot of consequences that you have to take before you want to terminate. Of course, there's provision, a lot for it, but the process is very lengthy and you need to document it, you need to make sure that you cover all angles, because one loophole or one slack in it can cost fortune to the company. Not talking about the image of the organization. And then we have also to be frank. When we hire people, sometimes it's a wrong hiring. We thought that, during the interview, the people can say anything they like and so on, right? We prepare and so on. And then when we hire, we say, oops, wrong hiring. Even sometimes we have a reference, very good reference and so on, we check and so on. But turn out to be it's a mismatch in the job. Right? And sometimes it's because of the performance, because that person having some illness or difficulties and so on, or technology change and so on, right? So people cannot cope up with those technology. So it creates that kind of situation. So then we will have attrition. And when the attrition is so high, then the organization will be having problem, right? Because you need that resources to operate. But if the attrition is so low, when you have new technology, but they can't cope up with new technology, then you also have problem. You want a kind of healthy attrition. And the problem is that how you define healthy attrition. Is 5% a healthy attrition? Maybe to some organization, yes, 5% is good. Maybe to some organization, 10% is good. So maybe to some organization, 1% is good. So we have to see from different type of organization. Right? Even in the semiconductor itself, you have various areas. You have HR, you have the R&D, you have the manufacturing. So different attrition rate is what required in the different, although they're in the same industry called semiconductor. Okay. OEE. Anyone knows what is OEE? OEE is introduced by Japan Institute of Plant Maintenance. It stands for Overall Equipment Effectiveness. Right? Is the I have few slides that show the OEE later on, the calculation. But what I want to share on this slide is about versus lean. How many of you know lean? Lean manufacturing. The Toyota way. They call it the lean. You can do a comparison between an OEE versus lean in your organization. Which one is your preferred? You want to use OEE to calculate, or you want to use lean in your production system? OEE. OEE.
Yeah.
Why you want to use OEE?
Because OEE measure three party in terms of quality, the output, and also the equipment uptime. Yeah. Basically cover all. But lean is talking about waste.
So we can have a different opinion in that. I've been through both in terms of the OE and the lean. Right? I personally prefer the lean. Right? It's not that I disagree with you. There's you have a point in terms of the OE. But to me, the OE is after the effect. It's a lagging indicator. That means after the fact, you look at the ability, you look at the performance, you look at the quality, then you have the OEE. Performance times by efficiency times by the quality. The world class standard is 85%. 90 times 95 times 99, then you get 85%. That's the world class standard. If you have higher than that, that means you are in the world class standard. Yes, 85%. But when you look at lean, what our friends say is true. You look at the waste. But what I like about lean is the tech time. Tech time. The tech time is like, for example, Porsche. AMD engaged Porsche in consulting as a consultant. Porsche, they don't do only sports car. They also have an arm that doing the consulting work. So when we visit a Porsche factory in Stuttgart, they have this. Of course, they implement the lean concept. So if I'm not mistaken, every 5 minutes, one Porsche car out from the factory. Every 5 minutes. Every 5 minutes, you know. So that's called the tag. The tag is that every 5 minutes, one car is out. Whatever, regardless the design, the model of the Porsche, every 5 minutes, the car will be out. So each work area, they know that how much time they have to work on that car. Because if not, you know, they will be behind. So the tag will determine the health of that line, the manufacturing. It's like our heartbeat. If we have a regular heartbeat, then we know that we are okay. When we have an irregular heartbeat, then we know we have a problem. Right? But some people, they are born with irregular heartbeat. That is, you know, that is another story. But in the normal people, right? So the tag, because if you have every 5 minutes, the car can come out, or every 5 minutes or every 20 seconds, your production can come out, then you know that your process are very stable. You don't have quality issue, because when you have quality issue, then you have to stop the line. Right? Your machines are running, your performance, your output is meeting what you said. Right? Then you know that, okay, if every 5 minutes I have it, that means I know that my production is okay. Later on, when you calculate the OE or what, you will get the expected result. So the lean is more of the process that we improve. The next challenge in the industry, and until now, maybe you can help me with this, is knowledge management. This is the biggest challenge in the industry because of the tribal knowledge. You cannot document all. You want to document everything, right? But you cannot document everything. There's something that you cannot document. That's why you have videos, you have trainings, and so on, right? And then through all these documents, trainings, and so on, how? Because employees, there's attrition. Employees move from area to area, job rotation. Employees be promoted, right? So you have new people coming to take over your job. So how you train them to be as good as you are? How you preserve that knowledge so that anyone can come and then take that knowledge and keep improving. So knowledge management remains a very, very difficult situation in the industry until now. Right? In order to keep that knowledge, in order to transfer that knowledge, and in order to improve that knowledge. So it's a big challenge in the industry. And many companies have tried various methods and so on. Yes, they get into something, but not to the expectation of the management. So if you want to find a lot about knowledge management, there's a lot of articles on knowledge management, the challenges that people face and so on. So like how to implement knowledge management. There's a lot of tools. Sometimes people use tools and say that yes, we have knowledge management, we are, but they use tools and so on. Tools alone are not enough. Tools are just to assist us in terms of storage and so on. But sometimes in terms of the storage also, to retrieve those also, you do not know how to retrieve, where to find those information, because there's tons of information. Like when you do a search, you find millions of it. KM is not supplementary knowledge management. Okay. As we know that talent are very, very important in organization. Without talent, the organization will will not be able to survive, right? Have the right talent. Manufacturing, we are lucky because we started very long time ago, and then we have quite a good ecosystem in terms of supporting the manufacturing. Right? However, R&D is very, very challenging because there's not enough ecosystem to support R&D. The reason being because the R&D spending in manufacturing mostly is the cost of goods sold, right? You have a revenue and the cost of goods sold, then you get the gross profit, right? Correct? You learn this, right? So the cost of goods sold is mostly the manufacturing piece. So there's a very big component of it. There's a big cost of it. So people are attracted to the big dollars in it. But when it comes to R&D, how much is it percentage of the revenue? 10%, 20%, right? So in terms of the cost, it's not as attractive as the manufacturing. So people are not so keen, because they say that might as well I'll go into manufacturing because I get more money out of it rather than in R&D. So the ecosystem in the R&D has been very slow, as not as rapid as in the manufacturing. But we need the R&D ecosystem, right? So that the R&D people can outsource some of the tasks to this company. But this organization they are not interested because they say that instead of I invest in this, might as well I go into manufacturing. But manufacturing is also very crowded, it's very competitive, right? But R&D, the dollars is not that lucrative. So these are the challenges that we have. Why the ecosystem is very important? Because from the ecosystem, we can develop more talent from the ecosystem. Then we can outsource. Then those multinationals that doing the R&D here, they can do the high-end product. The low-end product, they can start to outsource to the local company when we have the ecosystem. But if we don't have the ecosystem, then they cannot outsource. Then they have to keep with it, Then the company will say that, okay, I want to control your headcount to this. So how to do new product when you still have to handle the old product? Right? So these are the challenges. So the R&D ecosystem for in terms of developing talent is very, very important because we need the ecosystem to develop more talent. And then for us, if you see the smiley chart, right? You want to move up the value chain. Manufacturing is the lowest in that chain, and R&D is the top in that chain. So in order to bring up that R&D, we need more of the talent, and that's why the country is facing the shortage of the R&D talent. So how and to make matter worse, if we look at the Form 4 students now that enroll into the science stream, we have like less than 30% of the Form 4 students are in the science stream. Less than 30%. Right? And this, we are depending on them to be the R&D engineers one day. And we know that from this science student science stream, some of them become doctors and other professions, right? How many will become engineers? And ended up maybe less than 10%. And then when they graduate, some decided to teach, some decided to do other non-engineering work. So we have less talent. So we face this. And then we have to import the talent from outside. And that's the reason the government formed CREST. CREST has an office here. CREST stands for Collaborative Research in Electronic Science, in Engineering, Science and Technology. And this is only for the E&E industry, right? And it's an industry-led. The government give the fund so that the industry will do project with the universities and the local industry. The multinationals will take the lead, and the UC can also take the lead, but most of the time the multinational will take the lead, and they have to engage the universities, and they also engage the local industry and do project. And this is not a project just for the sake of doing project, because the industry need this project, need to accomplish something. Then hoping by doing this project, then the talent from the local industry and the talent from the university, we can accelerate those talent for R&D. So that's the purpose of the CREST. And over a 10 years period, the government been kind enough to give 100 million ringgit as a CRESS grant to CRESS. How many of you have done CRESS grant before? So how many of you, your company is in the CRESS? AP is in the CRESS. There are quite a number of companies in the CRESS, and you will see this. So the question here is that how do we build and accelerate the R&D talent?
Excuse me, that
Yes.
regarding to the previous slides, they're showing double tax deduction. May I know, can you please elaborate more about
The
this?
double tax deduction.
Yeah.
Okay. The government, when we first started manufacturing, of course the government don't give a double tax deduction, right? But in order to encourage the industry to go into R&D, so the government have introduced an incentive for double tax deduction.
What does it mean by double tax?
Oh, that means you can claim twice your tax. Yeah? You know, when you do your P&L, right? So you can claim your expenses again. Right? So that's why it's called the double tax deduction. But to claim the double tax deduction, you need to get the approval from the IRB, the Inland Revenue Board, the income tax. We call it income tax. They need to approve